I was literally typing. I'm like, damn it, that wasn't even recorded. I'll go again. I just wanted to welcome my first coach, Melise. Welcome to doing this with us, and you're my best friend, and I can't wait to do this together and watch you kill it. Melise used to be a mom blogger in the Ottawa region for the past like 4 years, and she took a back seat last year, but she's ready to dive back in and take care of herself. So I can't wait to watch you.
Thanks, Jess. Does anybody else have recognition? I'll give a huge shout out to Sophie for putting on an incredible event in Ottawa and representing herself, her own business, and this team as a part of Ottawa Market Council. Really, really proud of you. That event looked incredible. And of course to Ashlyn and Aaron, who both spoke at the event. You guys were amazing. You were really, really amazing. And I was so proud to watch. Thank you so much to Koo for streaming that. If you guys haven't had the chance, it's live on the coach page. You can go and check it out. Does anybody have any other recognition before we get going?
I'll go. I got a couple. I want to shout out Nadia, a new partner coach who's on our team, Full Circle. She's on the call already, was on her mentorship call. Another new coach, Angela, I don't think she's on the call, but welcome to the team. And also, I want to shout out another partner coach in our Full Circle team, Jen Hood. She has started posting her first reels this week, and it's been so awesome to see her start showing up more consistently on social media, and it's paying off. So awesome job, Jen. On Nadia, and welcome, Angela.
Anybody else? Okay, we are going to pass it off to Sarah. Guys, if you just really quickly, before I pass it off to Sarah and Jess, if you guys are not doing Healthy Obsession, if you're not doing the body interactive classes, get on it. Like, they're amazing. The live music this week has changed the game for me. It's been so awesome. And honestly, as a seasoned coach, like, I just felt such a shift this morning. I'm injured right now, but I just still showed up and I just pressed play on that live workout, and on the moves I couldn't do, like, I literally just turned Autumn down, turned the music up, and like did the stretches that I needed to do for my ankle. Like, this platform is for you. Like, this is for you. This is your time in the morning. Do not forget that, guys. I really believe that body is such a beautiful next chapter for us. So I hope you're embracing it. Super excited to hear from Jess and Sarah tonight. Take it away.
Thanks, Court. All right, Sisterhood, we are talking tonight about how to recruit your first working coach, or maybe you already have a working coach and it's recruiting more to your team, or maybe you have a really big team and some of the things that Jess and I are going to share tonight, you can then implement with your teams, right? And you can help your new coaches find their first coaches that join their team. So to me, this is like, there's nothing more exciting than when a coach joins me in Stride. It's like a confirmation for me that they're loving the client experience. They believe in the community aspect. And for me, I just get so excited because I know how this has had a massive impact on my life. It's like, I can't wait to see how this impacts them. Yes, I can't wait to see all the people that they impact, but I can't wait to see how the coaching opportunity impacts them. So Jess and I are going to talk about a bunch of different things tonight. I'm going to share, or I'm going to call on her to share a few times as like a newer coach perspective. Jess has been coaching almost 8 months. But before we get going with some of the content, I want to ask you guys a few questions. So I would love your participation in the chat. But what is your top benefit that you felt for yourself since becoming a coach? Drop it in the chat. Consistency, accountability, belonging, confidence, fulfillment, more accountability, community, friends, purpose, confidence. Amazing. Okay, my next question that I have for you, if you were at Super Weekend, awesome. If you weren't at Super Weekend and you've been to an event before, I want you to think to the last event that you were at, what's one word that could describe how you felt when you left? So when you walked out of Super Weekend in Ottawa, if you were there, how did you feel? Joy, energized, empowered, high, hope, a lot of empowered, connection, tired, reignited, totally. Okay, and my last question, what is one word that you think you could use to describe what your life would look like if you woke up tomorrow morning and coaching was no longer a thing? It was gone, stripped away. It's gone. Boring, depressed, lonely, lost, anxiety, sad. Like, see how these words are flipping? Like, what has this brought to you? Like positive, like all these amazing things. And then what would it be like if it was gone? Like complete opposite, anxious, stressed, alone, unsure, uncertain, sad. So my question is, and this is a question to me too, like I'm by no means an expert, like I'm still very much so working on my recruitment of coaches, but like, if this is how we feel, why are we not offering this opportunity to more people? Like, why are we not sharing this gift that coaching has been in our life? And I can see so many of you nodding and like, I'm the same, like even reading those messages, I'm like, dang, I've not sent, some coach invites in the last little while. I need to really start having these conversations. Why are we not offering this opportunity to more people? And I think the first thing that we need to do, and not only just today or not one person on this call, but maybe something that we need to do regularly with ourselves is check our belief, right? If we are not inviting to this business opportunity, it's because we're making it about us. And it has nothing to do with us. The women or the men who join us in coaching, who join our teams, that's about them. It has nothing to do about us, but we hold them back from that opportunity for our egos, to protect our egos, right? Fear of rejection, like, oh my God, this client is killing it. And now I've invited her, like, I'm so embarrassed. She said no, like we have that fear maybe that we're holding on to. Maybe it's our confidence and like, oh crap, okay, they've joined me, now what, right? But I want to bring back to the point of like, who are we not to offer this opportunity? I know for me, I'm 3 years in now, and this has completely changed the trajectory of my entire life. And I was someone, like I was just listening on the mentorship call, and Courtney shares this every mentorship, that she was asked by Jamie, like, are you a walker? Are you a jogger? Or are you a runner in this business? And like, I was a walker, like kind of moving backwards. Like those were my intentions, no intentions of doing anything with this. And over the course of the 3 years, like it's changed every aspect of my life in so many ways. And I know looking at all these squares like on the screen, it's changed your life as well. Or you would not be on this call 8:00 on a Wednesday night listening to me talk about recruiting coaches to your team. Another thing that was mentioned on the mentorship call that I wanted to add is like this opportunity, not like aside from what it can do for us personally, financially is a huge part. Like the world is struggling. It costs something like $6,000 more to live the exact same this year as last year. And it's like, here we have this thing that we're obsessed with, that we love so much, that has the opportunity to help people with their financial problems. And yet like we're holding on to that, right? We're not sharing this with them. So I kind of want you to keep those things in mind as we go through some of these topics. Like people need this in their life more than we even realize. Like we are in the thick of it. We get to experience all these benefits, but the people who haven't even dipped their toe into what coaching is and this beautiful community and our team, like they need it more than we can probably even put into words. I think it's safe to say that every single one of us cares deeply about the results that our clients get when they come into our community, right? And their experience. And I want to say like almost to a fault. I have conversations with coaches on my team often, and they're so focused on the women who have joined them as clients that are like in no man's land, doing nothing, not following through on their commitment. And they're so focused on like trying to engage them, trying to get them started. And they're pouring all of their time and all of their energy into the people who are kind of like failing to start on their journey. And it's like, if we care so deeply about our clients and we really want them to get results, why are we not presenting this coaching opportunity? Because I know for me, I can confidently say, like, I would not be here if I was just a client in a community. I would not still be doing this 3 years in, right? Like, coaching really is that glue that keeps you going. So if we really want to see our clients have results, and I'm not talking about like losing 30, 40, 50 pounds, but like true results, like change their mindset, change their gut health, change their hobbies, change their whatever, like change everything and step into like that next level of their life. Why are we not offering this incredible opportunity to them? We all know that coaches get the best results. And if you don't believe that, that's where you need to start. Okay, you need to believe in everything that this business has to offer. And maybe that is you sitting down and like writing all of those benefits on a piece of paper. Maybe that's something that needs to hang in your workspace and you're looking at it and you're reminding yourself of everything that this has brought to your life before you're having those conversations with people who could be really great coaches on your team or people who could really benefit from this. The last thing one of the last things I want to talk about belief is like, believing in your level of coaching and what it does for you, right? If you are a hobby coach and you want to get your products paid for and help a couple friends a month, that's amazing. What is coaching doing for you? Is it the accountability? Is it the free products? Is it your, I don't know, whatever, like what is it doing for you specifically? Be confident in that and be proud of it. Like, don't think what coaching is doing for you, if you are in that level of coaching, is less than someone who's doing this full time. That is what you need out of coaching. So believe in that and be proud of it. Same thing, like if you do this part-time, right? If you do this a couple hours a day and you have a community and you do the events, but you never have intentions of doing this full time, awesome. Be proud of that. What is this bringing to your life? Does it pay for your daycare? Does it pay for your groceries? Did you take your family to Disney? What is it doing for you? And be confident in offering that. Just like if you're someone who has desires to do this full-time or you're doing it full-time, awesome. Be confident in what you're doing. Be proud of showcasing that and really know how it benefits your life as a full-time coach in comparison to the hobby coach. They are all equally as important. They can all equally have as big of an impact on people. And I think if we can really understand that and we can be confident in what we have to offer, knowing that the women or the men who join us, regardless of what path they choose for themselves in coaching, knowing that this is going to have a big impact on their life as well. I think another thing that really holds people back just from conversations that I've had is like, our ability to mentor the people who join us. Like, oh crap, they've joined. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm still figuring this out myself. Like, I haven't hit Success Club yet. I'm like still working through the mentorship, or like I haven't rank advanced, or I haven't done whatever. I think we really question our ability to lead people based off of the road that we've already walked. But I want to remind you, if you have a coach that joins your team today, you're not their boss. It is not your job to hold their hand through every step of coaching. It's your job to guide them the best that you can, to show them the resources that they have available to them, to plug them into the systems that we already have in place, right? Like, look at us. We're here on a Wednesday night, 8:15. Like, we are all still learning. You know, none of us have all the answers. This is ongoing. So why do we put that pressure on ourselves to feel like we have to have all those answers before we invite those incredible people to come do this business with us, to come coach? You don't need all the answers. And I think a big part is if we can teach ourselves to be resourceful. So when we don't know the answer to something or whatever, to know where we can go look, right? Or to, take the action to go look for the answer. And if we can understand that for ourselves, we also don't know everything in this business and we're still figuring it out and we know how to be resourceful, then it doesn't matter what questions or concerns that new coach coming in has, you can teach them to be resourceful as well. So that's just something I want you to keep in the back of your mind as well. Next thing I want to talk about is, how are you sharing this business opportunity? How are you sharing coaching on your social media? And this is going to be different for all of us, right? It really depends on your stage in coaching. Like Erin Yak is going to share it very different from a coach who is in the September mentorship, right? They've been doing it like 4 years apart. So of course that messaging is going to be very different. But regardless of what stage you're at in terms of how long you've been in this business, you're never going to recruit coaches onto your team, Even if they're your current clients, you're never going to recruit them onto your team if you're not talking about the business, right? If they don't even know that it's a possibility, something that they can do, and you're not talking about it, they don't even know that it's something that they can join. And I want to compare that to like the client opportunity. Okay, think for a second. If you did not post your workouts, anything about nutrition, nothing about your community on social media, how hard would it be to have to get someone to join your community to do these programs and this nutrition plan for you? Like they'd be completely lost. They'd have no idea what it was that you're talking about. Same thing with the business. If we want to invite people to the coaching opportunity, we need to make sure we're sharing that opportunity so they know what the heck it is that we're talking about and that there's something that they can join. And this doesn't mean like blasting, like I can teach you how to grow a massive business, whatever on social. It's like share the parts of coaching that are already in your life. That's what we're sharing, right? So like the events, I'm willing to bet that everyone who's at Super Weekend was probably sharing something about Super Weekend on their social media. Right? That is you sharing the coach opportunity. That's you sharing the coach community. You sharing how coaching has helped change a feeling that you have. That's you sharing the opportunity. And I think of one of my rookie coaches, Sarah McDonald, who shared in the Sisterhood Coach page about the changes that she felt and how her husband noticed that like just 2 months into coaching. Like that is powerful. That is her way to share what coaching has done in her life, whether or not she chooses to put it on her social media, but in her conversations, right? Without her saying like, let me help you build a big business. She's like, no, this is how it's changed my life. And people can then look at Sarah's situation and be like, I wonder if that could impact my relationship with my husband. And he can see that change in me as well. Another thing is like financial wins. Right? Sure. We're not supposed to, we can't like talk about exact dollar amounts and stuff like that on social media, but how can you showcase how this business has benefited you financially? Maybe that's like talking about Christmas presents, right? Talking about how helping women make changes to their health allowed you to, get whatever for your kid that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. And I think a lot of us, we worry that, I don't want to say a lot of us, a couple conversations that I've had in the last little bit, some coaches are like, I don't want to talk about the business opportunity because I don't want my friends and family to think I'm only inviting them to make money off of them. Okay, if you are feeling that way, I can see a couple of you nodding. If you're feeling that way, I really want to encourage you to switch your mindset. People are not going to make the decision to join you or not as a client if they think they're making money off of you or not. They're joining you as a client because they see, this is how I'm feeling. This is the problem I want to change. She can help me do that. And I want to feel better. I'm going alongside her. They're not like, well, I'm only joining you if you're not making any money, right? So if you're concerned that people are thinking that way, that's a you thing. That's something that you just need to work on and change. It's so important to share some of those financial wins because you have no idea who's going to be on the other side who is struggling to pay for their groceries that could really see this as a massive opportunity. And going back to like how everyone is struggling financially right now, right? Like we're going into the recession or we're in the recession. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff, but like money is tough right now. People need to be making more money and this is a great avenue for them. And like another example of how you can share, a coach on my team with her first paycheck, she bought herself a desk for her office so she could work her business. Like what a cool way to be able to say, I helped women make changes to their health and I was able to buy this for my space so I can help more women make these changes as well. She didn't say anything about what that desk costs or how much she made off of each person who joined her, but she's able to showcase that she did have that financial benefit. And maybe that inspires somebody else to jump into coaching too. For me, my biggest boom that I had in terms of my coach recruitment was after Summit. And I know a big part of that was like the energy and the excitement from the group. I had a lot of people who were really curious, right? Watching everything that we were doing for those of you who were there with me. And they wanted a piece of that. They wanted to know like, how can I have this community of incredible people who look happy and who are doing all the things? And then that also coincided with me leaving teaching. Right? I'm not saying you have to leave teaching or leave your job to get coaches, but for me, I think the women who joined my team in those couple of months leading after, it's because they saw the events and all the excitement. And they also saw on the other side, like this was a legitimate business that I was building, right? I was able to replace the income. The income is possible in this. Anyways, I think that's all I'm going to share on that part. I do want to pass it off to Jess so she can share, as a newer coach, someone who is 8 months in, how she shares the coach opportunity on her social media.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everybody. I'm Jess, for those who don't know me. Like she said, I've been coaching for 8 months. I'll be frank with you. I don't share the business opportunity as much as I probably should. And I'm okay with where I'm at in my journey in terms of sharing coaching and the business. I think I might have said the word business in my stories twice since I started. I will often reference myself as a coach, as I am, and it doesn't come from a place of shame. It doesn't come from a place of me being nervous from sharing it. It's just not my personality and the way that I do it. I mostly, and like I said tonight, literally I recruited my first coach 3 hours ago. And I'll talk about how I recruited her in the next segment that I'm going to be sharing. But how I share about coaching is really just what I do every day. And I keep it extremely simple. I share what I do every day. And I really want to encourage you all, because I can find it quite boring when I'm looking at other coaches' stories, and I'm not pinpointing anybody, but like if you're just showing your morning routine and then you disappear for the rest of the day, then I can't relate to you. I can't relate to what you're doing. And like, I like to see you throughout your day, what's going on with you. And that's when people are connecting with me. And I'm going to tell you right now, I never connect with anybody when I'm talking about coaching, when I'm talking about a business, and when I'm posting my workouts. I connect with people when I'm sharing my 2-year-old who's doing stupid stuff, or I'm having a terrible day, or and I often get a lot of like connections when I'm posting food and recipes, and what I do as a mom. And so I foster those connections a lot more when I post about my life as a corporate mom, and not necessarily as a coach. But I do try to share coaching once or twice a week in my stories, or through a post and a reel. I shared a reel, a funny reel of like my appliances sparkling. And the reason I get to have a house cleaner is because I make money from coaching. And the way that I get to pay for my cleaner is through coaching. I share a lot of what coaching has done for me. So I'll share like, I'll share a transformation. I don't have a physical transformation, but it's very a mental and emotional transformation. And I always have like a nice little story about how coaching has done that for me. I wouldn't be, and I always say like, I wouldn't be here where I am today if it wasn't for coaching. And when I first started posting 8 months ago, like more consistently, my entire, like I've never invited my family or my sisters or my siblings or my any family member. Why? Because the second I started posting more, and I started posting, like, obviously this is a business, like people are dumb, like they see me on social media every day posting about my life and like these workouts and stuff. They know I'm doing this for a reason. And I got, what kind of cult are you in? What kind of scheme did you get yourself into? And from like direct family members. And it was a difficult pill to swallow, but I haven't been ashamed of what I do since the beginning. And I don't shy away from being like, no, it's not a cult. And let me tell you all about it. And they've completely done a 180. And now I have my family who's involved. They're my clients now. And I'm working on a few others, but it'll come. But I just also like, don't overthink it. If you're new, like, don't panic about posting your business every day and like trying to invite to coaching every day. I mean, you maybe should if you really want to make a lot of money, but that's just not where I'm at. And I have fun with it. I love what I do. It's more fun for me right now than it is like work. And I think that's what it should be. But also, like Sarah said, like events, like I get a lot of connections after the events. People are like, where the heck were you? It looked like a shit ton of fun. I want to be a part of that. And I was at Super Sunday and Erin came up to me and she said, have you messaged your prospects? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're lying into my face. I'm like, okay, maybe I am. And that's just because like, I get so wrapped up in the events, but don't forget to message your prospects, because I messaged the coach that I signed up tonight. you have to be here with me next year because one, she's my best friend, but also like this would be a shit ton of fun. And she's here. She signed up. She finally did the damn thing after watching me all day on Sunday. And I have, I'd say probably 10 prospects now, and they've all said no. But they always keep coming back and asking me more questions. So it's just a matter of time. And I'll plug in like my last little thing. It's like, have some patience. And that's what I'll talk about next with Sarah, but just have some patience. So I'll leave it at that.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess. And one thing that I'll add, like, if you're thinking about sharing about the business opportunity on your social, like kind of have a plan. If you were on, I think it was last week's call when Courtney went over like having a marketing plan, right? Knowing you have a challenge group starting. So you're talking about that leading up to it. Same thing. Look at when like our next Snoop group is, or what is coaching call, or, you know, the end of the month. That's a great time to, you know, have 3, 4, 5 days in a row where you're talking about the coaching opportunity, right? Like do it to catch people's attention as it's leading up to something. Okay, so you believe in everything that this has to offer. You're sharing it on your social media, but how are you inviting people to the coaching opportunity? Okay, so that's the next thing that we're going to talk about. I would say like most coaches come from our client groups, not everybody. Like I know as coaches get bigger, some of them are recruiting coaches like directly, but for most of us on this call, our coaches are coming from our client group. So really think like, what is the experience that they're having in that client group? Right? If they're having a great experience, then they're believing in what it is that they can offer to other people. So really try to think about the client experience and what they are getting, and making sure that it is something that they're also excited about, that they would want to be inviting people to, or they would want to be creating their own community to share with their friends and family. But I also think there's such a fine line of being like too hands-on with our clients. And if we are too hands-on with our clients, then we are making what we do as coaches seem something that's very unattainable. And I think back to like the beginning of my coaching, and I hope none of you are doing this, or maybe it's a good thing, I don't know, but like I stopped at the very beginning. I would like make the meal plans for my clients because they couldn't understand portion fix. Like, tell me the foods you like to, like I would create it for them. Like I basically held their hand every single step, trying to ensure that they got results. And those people probably never wanted to coach with me because they're like, I don't want to do that for people. Like, this is a lot of work, what this girl is putting into it. Right. So make sure they're having that incredible experience, but also make sure you're not holding their hands too much. And this doesn't mean like let them fend for themselves, but empower them to be resourceful, teach them how to be resourceful. Because if they can confidently do that themselves as clients, and they know where to find those resources, or they know where to ask questions, then that takes the pressure off of them if they want to share this with their friends and family, knowing that they can just empower those people to do the same. If you are a new coach, you have a massive advantage to recruiting coaches. And I think a lot of people think it's the opposite, right? It's the more experienced coaches have an easier time recruiting people in. But as a new coach, you are able to really present it as like, do this with me, like do this with me. We could do this together. It would be fun. This is how I'm feeling. Like we could do groups together like that. Do this alongside me is really exciting for people, right? And it's kind of in that non-threatening way. They see that you are just going through this and you are learning this, and the fact that they can do it with you doesn't feel threatening to them. And like, I think back to me as a brand new coach, I had no idea how any of the ranks worked at the beginning. I had no intentions of building a business. And I went back and looked at my sponsorship drill down. And when I was a brand new coach, before I was Diamond, I had 5 Emerald coaches. I wasn't even Diamond, and I had 5 Emerald coaches. And I was thinking, okay, why did I have so many coaches in the beginning? It was the beginning of the pandemic, right? So a little bit of a different scenario, like more people were interested in this than like a typical day, but it's also how I was presenting it. I wasn't saying like, let me show you how to build a business. I was saying, I'm feeling good. I'm finally consistent for the first time in my life. Like, come do this with me. It was just my clients. It was just my friends. Like, do you want to share this with people in your life too? It was the girls that I was teaching with. And again, it was in that non-threatening way for them to be able to join. So if you're a brand new coach, take advantage of this. Take advantage of this opportunity when you are very much so still a beginner, to invite people to come be beginners with you. Don't let this time pass, because honestly, it's a huge opportunity for you. In terms of when you are inviting people, my advice would be to strike when the fire is hot, right? When they are brand new in your community, they are a couple weeks in, they're feeling incredible. That's a great time to offer this opportunity, right? If you're waiting 3, 4, 5, 8 months or whatever, and they're on and off, on and off, on and off, they don't necessarily have that energy and that excitement in that moment. So I think planting that seed when they're feeling incredible, when they're excited, when they're probably already talking it to people, really goes a long way, whether or not they decide to join in that moment or not. Just like dropping that seed of belief, right? Planting that seed of belief into them. But a big part of our job is helping them see their wins, right? And helping them believe that they can then pass those on to other people, right? All the incredible things that they're feeling, they can help their friends and family feel the same way. I'll never forget, like Erin talked about this on one of my very first calls as a coach, kind of her process for recruiting coaches. And it was like in the first week, she was really like checking in with how they're feeling and like congratulating them for showing up. The second week, she was thanking them for being engaged. And if they were, you know, commenting on people's stuff, like thanking them for encouraging and motivating and inspiring other people. And it was only on week 3, like within their first month of coaching, it's like, have you considered sharing this with your friends and family? Like, is anybody noticing? And that's such a perfect time to do it because like they've just joined, they feel incredible, they have this support from you. And of course, they're naturally going to want to share that. So I always loved when Erin shared that idea. And there was something similar that was shared at Summit by Emily Lemoyne, and that was her 10-day check-in. She has a 10-day check-in process. I think it was actually posted in the Sisterhood Coaches, like what she talks about on each day, but like day 1 was like helping them get started. Day 2 was checking in, yada, yada, yada. And by day 10, it was a coach invite, like 10 days into them being in her community. And again, it's like striking while that fire's hot, when they're feeling incredible, when they're shouting this from the rooftops already, and they want to share it with their family. And does that mean that they're going to join right away on your team as a coach? No, I would say most people don't right away. But it's getting that conversation started that's so important. Very few people will say yes to coaching the first time that you ask them. And if they say yes the first time, send them my way. I want them on my team instead because my people do not join the first time that I invite them. But what are you doing when they say no? Okay, you've invited this client you think is incredible. They're crushing it in your challenge group. They're cheering everyone on. They're posting pictures and sharing recipes and whatever. And you think that they could be amazing. And they say no. What are you doing at that point? Right. And I think so many of us, it's like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed, like literally shrivel up and avoid having that conversation again. But we need to do the exact opposite, because that first initial invite is the very beginning of the conversation, the very, very beginning. A lot of the coaches that have joined my team this year, man, I talked to them so many times, like so many times about this opportunity. So have that game plan going in. What are you going to do? Continue to encourage and support them. Continue to tell them down the road, like don't do it every single day, but like continue to tell them down the road that you still think that they could inspire a lot of people in their life, that they could really make a difference. Don't hide away because they said no the first time, because it might take 10 conversations over 2 years before they build up the courage, before they build up the confidence to say, well, you know what? I can do this too. Okay. So make sure you're not giving up on the people just because they're saying no. The first conversation is like the beginning of that coach prospect relationship. And again, I'm going to get Jess to share this because her coach, her best friend who joined her, has showed interest in coaching from the very beginning when Jess joined. And it's taken her 7.5 months to finally jump in. So Jess, we'd love to hear from this.
All right. So when I decided to coach 8 months ago, I went to just a coffee shop with my girlfriend, Millie's, and we're just going to do like a 3-hour working session, like our corporate jobs. And obviously we talked for 2 hours of our personal lives instead of doing our corporate jobs. But in the meantime, I was like, hey, listen, I decided to start coaching and I started to do this. And she was so excited for me and was just like, tell me more about it. And it was like the first person really that I brought up this story to, or like this new opportunity that I was going to embark on. And then she was just like, that was just like so open about it and just genuinely interested in hearing what I was going to do. And it shocked me. Like, honestly, I was just like, why is she so actually interested? And like, why, like everybody else that I was talking about it, even like my husband was like, okay, good luck. That's interesting. But like, didn't really show any interest. And she did. So we talked and she was like, what can I do to like help you? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I want in, like, I not to coaching, but she's like, what can I do to help you? And I said, well, you can sign up as a client and be my first client. And she was my first client and she was my first PC. And since then, I would say she hasn't been consistent at all with her fitness. She's probably gonna listen to this call. I'm calling you out. You have not been consistent, but you know what? She's been watching me, and every time we hang out and every time we're together, she was like, so how's your coaching business going? And like, what do you guys do? And obviously she would ask me about Summit, and she's like, that would be so fun. And I'm like, yeah, you should do it with me. But like, I would just say you should do it with me. I never was like, sign up as a coach. I just talked about it like, you're my best friend. Like, yeah, let's go together. It would be so much fun. Imagine us going to Summit together. Imagine us rooming and whatnot. And it wasn't until she started recommitting to her own journey and started posting, because she knew at the end of the day, it helps me when she posts her workout on social media, and then she tags me and then I repost it. And then, you know, some of her friends started being like, what are you doing? And then she's like, she's like, I don't want to send them to Jess, because she's like, what if I did this? Because she already has like 4 client prospects that are interested. And she's like, I'll just sign up as a coach and do it. And I was like, okay, cool, let's sign you up. So signed her up today, and she's already kind of got a game plan for herself for January, but she's just going to kind of just start sprinkling it in November and December and sign up those close prospects that have already reached out to her, but really take it off in January. So I'm really excited for her. But on top of that story, like, I tend to invite to coaching through my clients. Like, the other 10 prospects that I mentioned are current clients, because I know a lot of people in recent conversations and recent calls say you should invite to coaching first. I'm personally not there in my journey. I just really started being confident in my own business. And so I had a difficult time being authentic at being like, you should do this business, like you should do coaching with me, when I was still trying to figure out what my business is and what my coaching journey is. And I just started feeling really confident in it. And like, now I'm like sharing it with my clients, and every single one of my clients are young moms in their 30s, late 20s, multiple children, corporate jobs. And every single one of their answers is, I don't have time. And my answer back to them is, well, how do you think I do it? Because they're constantly engaging with me. They're asking me questions. They're asking me questions about total solution patterns, the recipes, what workout I should do. So like, I'm almost like, I want to go back to them and be like, stop messaging me so much, and then you would have a lot of time to do this business. And I now, because I'm confident in my business now, and I want to start sharing more what I do on the business side, I need to now speak to them in my stories. Not directly being like, hey, you, this is how I do it, but start sprinkling more of, in my day of being a mom, having my corporate job and being a housewife and having a house and responsibility, a dog, how am I fitting in my coaching business throughout the day? Because I'll pick up my phone for 10 minutes and I'll answer messages, or I'll check into my client group, or I'll check my back office. I need to start documenting that in my stories so that people can relate and see, okay, like she just spent 15 minutes working on her business, or she's doing it over lunch. Like, show that I'm eating my salad as I'm checking into my back office, or I'm doing, checking in with my clients. So speak to them and speak to why they're saying no, so that they can like kind of relate and say, maybe I actually can do this. One other thing for me is, I might be too picky, but I also want to invite people that I can see doing this alongside with. I don't want to just send thousands of invites out just to bring my numbers up. We talk to each other weekly, daily. Can I picture myself talking to these people daily and weekly and like all the time? Or am I just going to get annoyed by them? And it's just like, at the end of the day, we can't love everybody. We can't all mesh, and we don't have all the same personalities. So I'm kind of very picky when it comes to who I send my invites to, and I'm not here to just rank and advance. I'm in this for the long run. And if that means I don't hit diamond until next year, I don't hit diamond until next year. But I know that what I'm doing, it's authentic and it's real. And I'm not pushy. I don't feel uncomfortable doing it. and I don't have anxiety around it, because when it comes to sending an invite out, to me, brings a lot of anxiety. I don't like it. I type it and I'm like, nope, there's a little part of this that sounds too salesy to me. And then I overthink it. And then then I don't do it. So I have personal work to do in terms of invites and sending those out. But another thing is, like, people need to trust you too. So that's why I struggle in the beginning to start sending all these invites, because they're like, okay, she's been working out for a week. So be it. I've worked out for a week. I got a gym membership and I went twice a week. I'm not proving anything. Like, I want people to trust me and to know that, like, this is legit. And I'm not just gonna disappear in 2 weeks or a month and quit. What else? I have something else good in my head, but yeah, I think that's it. If I think about it, I'll ping you.
Jess, I love what you said about, like, you still have work to do with your invitations, because same. And I don't think that ever goes away, right? Like, as you evolve in this business, you're constantly like reflecting and pivoting and figuring out, like, what's a way to do this better? What's a way to do this in a way that feels even better for me? And I think the way that feels really good for you today might not feel really good next year, right? So I think that's a good mindset to have, is like knowing that you always have work to do, right? We're always evolving and growing in this business, and how we share this opportunity with clients and with coaches as well. But before we wrap it up here, I would love if you write down these 4 things: your belief, your social media presence, your invitations, and your patience. Your belief, social media presence, inviting, and your patience. And look at those 4 things, because to me, those 4 things are so important in building a team and recruiting coaches, which is something that I am very much so here for. So look at them, and are we going to be strong in all of them, knocking them out of the park? No. But I want you to look at those 4 words and ask yourself, do I have that belief? Because if you don't have that belief, like, that's the first thing you really need to, like, hone in on, and you need to dial in on, and you need to figure out what is missing for you. Right? What is that piece? And then work your way down that list. How's your social media? How are you showcasing this? How are you inviting? Right? Are you backspacing your messages a million times, like Jess said, because it feels salesy? Awesome. How can you switch that up? Maybe it's a voice note that works better for you, or a video message. Like, figure out the flow that truly feels great for you. And are you patient enough to see this through? Because no one is jumping through hoops, like, sign me up, like, that is rare. Right? Have the patience to see it through and allow people to go through that process. I love the end of the year, because I love fresh beginnings. Like, the first of the month on a Monday is like the best day ever for me. I'm like, it's a Monday and it's the first of the month. Like, I love the new year, like, and I love leading up to it, because I think there's so much excitement and possibility of what can come. And I'm very much so, like, a goal oriented and driven person. So I have a challenge for you as we are approaching 2023, is for every single one of us to have at least one coach in the January mentorship. That's 2 months to find at least one coach to be in the January mentorship. And the reason that I'm saying this on November, whatever it is, 9th, is because those conversations start now. Because you're not going to invite someone on December 31st and they jump into the January mentorship. So I want you to start having those conversations now. Look at your community. Look at the women who are killing it. Look at the ones that you could really see doing this alongside. Look at the ones who could really benefit from this, and start to have those conversations. And if you're looking at your client group like, man, I don't really have any coach prospects, then go kill November. Right? Go recruit lots of women to join your community. Go share, go help people make changes, because the women who join you in November, if you are striking while the fire is hot and you're having those conversations with them, they could very much so be your coaches in January, right? So don't count yourself out if you don't feel like you have the people, but I want to encourage every single one of us to have at least one coach in the January mentorship and start that process now. Honestly, like, the new year is like the best time of year as a coach, because everybody and their dog wants to make New Year's resolutions and get healthier. So it's so easy for us to help our brand new coaches in January have a win, because their sister and their aunt and their best friend are probably looking for a way to make changes as well. So why not invite them to do it with them, right? Such a great opportunity for new coaches in the new year. And then the last thing I want to talk about before we wrap it up is Cash for Christmas. So we're going to be sharing a little bit more information about this. We shared it on last week's call. Courtney went over it, so make sure you go and listen, but we'll be sharing more as we lead up to it. But it is such an incredible, no pressure way to allow people to toe dip into coaching, right? Essentially what we're going to be offering people is like, come make $500 for Christmas. Come make money for Christmas by inviting the people in your life to do a program with you starting in January. That's essentially what we're doing. Regardless of if they have intentions of building a business or not, or fully coaching, it gives them this opportunity to see what it's all about. And even if they're just in this for the cash at Christmas and they have 3, 4, 5 friends who join them, and these 3, 4, 5 friends are feeling incredible in January as they're all doing Sure Thing together or whatever the program is, don't you think that person's going to want to share this with more people? Don't you think this person's going to want to stick around and really see what this coaching is about? So I just think the Cash for Christmas is such a great way to, again, have that no pressure to build a business opportunity for people to make some money, impact the people in their life, and potentially see if this could be a really great fit for them too. That's all I got. I'll pass it back to Aaron.
And I think that not often we talk about inviting coaching, and I think coaches are of it. I love how you made it so simple and made it so clear, and I think that
Stopping out there.
Can you hear me?
Speakers like cracking. You're out. It's been a long day. I do think it's important to remind ourselves to like intentionally go and invite those people. Like when we look to create our team call events, guys, we're literally repeating the same themes with a different message, right? It's like your journey is your job. Like inviting to the opportunity, social media, like there's a couple themes that we just keep rotating. And Aaron's right, we haven't done this one specifically in a while because I think it's just a given, like invite to the opportunity. But honestly, guys, coaching is the magic sauce. I got on a client call with someone recently and she was like, all the things, like struggling, can't keep it on, blah, 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 all the things, right? And it's like, I know the solution. It's coaching, right? She's not ready. It's not for her. She's not a social media gal, but you better believe I'm going to suggest it because it's that seed planted. And I know it's her solution if she'll be willing to step up to the plate eventually. So thank you so much, Sarah and Jess. That was really, really good. And I loved the different perspectives from sort of different levels in your coach career. So, and Jess, congrats on your first working coach. I'm so excited for you. I truly believe in that way forward. Some of the most successful coaches have a really good close friend join them. It's important. It can be really important for your confidence, for your camaraderie, for so much. So if you're a new coach, I would really lean into some of your besties and really see if they want to do it with you. Hope you guys have a good night and we'll talk soon.